The tables of content is hoping, aspiring, grow up to become a virtual science fiction convention. I saw Jurassic Park in theater. I took myself to go see it.
I went back for an anniversary.
You could drive already?
That's what?
Yeah,
there we go. There it is. There it goes. Thanks, Laura. Laura's last Monsterama, as well as her first. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's one of the downsides of having my staff be the entire panel. So I use the word "my" poetically, but anyway. I just wanted to also throw in that I got some birthday money recently and bought myself, finally broke down and bought the amber with the mosquito in it. And it sits on the shelf right next to my can of Barbasol.
I love that.
Yes.
Okay, so I am supposed to moderate this panel, but I absolutely love this movie. This movie it came out my senior in high school. I do have a story, so before I get to that, the title of this panel is The Jurassic was 145 million years ago, so the park was 30. Well, the park is 30. Spielberg tapped into our childhood fantasies of dinosaurs, made them into nightmares. The almost seamless blending of CGI and practical effects brought dinosaurs to life and terrified us. I think this was a movie that really did that well, the blending of the CGI and the practical effects. So this movie came out, I was a senior in high school, and there was a girl that I had been dating the whole year, Dorchester, and I really, really liked her. Like, we talked every day, blah, 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 blah. So I saw the trailer for this movie, and I was like, hey, you want to go to the movies? And she's like, sure. I said, okay, well, what time do you want to pick you up? She's like, no, I will meet you there. I waited.
Aww.
And I waited. And I waited. And I waited. And right before the movie started, I went in and watched the movie. Loved it, but the event was terrible. And we never spoke again. But then I went off to college, so that was my...
She hated dinosaurs that much.
I don't know if it was me or the dinosaurs.
It was the dinosaurs.
No, it was the dinosaurs.
It was the dinosaurs.
She hated dinosaurs that much, you were saved.
Right.
Just saying.
So that leads me to the first question what was your experience the first time you saw it? I know you said you didn't remember.
Well, okay, it's more of like I never remember the first time I saw it because like it was one of those movies that my family watched a lot. Like there were maybe like 4 or 5 that like that's what we watched. Forrest Gump was one of them. The Patriot was one of them. Things like that. So I actually don't remember it being like as scary as I feel like I should have thought it was at that age. Like I remember it being like fun and yeah, scary dinosaurs. But like I really liked I related to the kids in the movie, which I think was partially why they did it. It made it less scary. It made it more like kind of family friendly. And yeah, I just remember watching it all the time. It was awesome.
I don't remember the first time I watched it. It was definitely one of those movies that was just around the house. I do remember we went to one of the anniversary showings of it for probably the 20th or the 25th or something like that. And I do remember asking for Jurassic Park, the box set, when I was a kid. And definitely still have that, even though we don't have a DVD player anymore. Still have the box set with the DVDs. Yeah, I have. It is one of those things that's always been there because my parents love Jurassic Park, love the soundtrack, love John Williams stuff, so it's just always been there.
I don't specifically remember the event, as Anthony said, of going to go see it, but I'm pretty sure I went to go see it in the theater, and it blew my mind, like it did a lot of people's. One of the things that was interesting about seeing that movie in the theater was I was a dinosaur kid when I was like 5. Like I'm right out of the textbook. I'm a little kid and dinosaurs are the bomb, and I have all these dinosaur collectibles. I have dinosaurs from the Smithsonian Institute. Parents took me there on a trip. We went to go see the dinosaurs there. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Still have those dinosaurs from that trip. So I'm watching the movie, and I'm one of those dinosaur kids going, "That's a brachiosaur!" and it's accurate. Right? And I'm sitting there going, what's Paracephalus? And I'm Ankylosaurus. And I'm just sitting there as an adult, just totally regressing back to my 5-year-old dinosaur kid, going, these people did their homework. I think I was like one of 2 people in the theater that got the Rick Backer joke. So Sam Neill's character is based off of a paleontologist named Jack Horner, and Horner had a little bit of competition from another paleontologist named Rick Backer, who wrote a book called The Dinosaur Heresies, which if you're a fan of actual dinosaurs, I recommend this book very highly because it's amazing. It is now technically out of date, but everything about dinosaurs is out of date every 3 months.
Yeah.
We were just joking about how the velociraptors are wrong because they don't have feathers. I'm like, okay, well.
And they're tall.
Yeah, but 30 years ago they didn't have feathers.
That's true.
Well, we didn't, you know what I mean.
We didn't know, yeah.
So I'm looking at this little kid who's going after Sam Neill's character, Dr. Grant, and he's like, and then there was this, right, yeah. Well, no, not that kid, the later kid.
Ah, yeah.
The electric fence boy, Timmy.
Timmy, oh, Timmy.
It's the Hangover panel. The names are not coming to me so easily today. But Timmy comes up to me and goes, I read your book. And then he makes some comment about it. And Grant's like, oh, trying to get away from this child. And then he goes, and then there's this book by Rick Backer. And I just laughed out loud. And almost everyone in the room was like, was that funny? I was like, yes, it was hysterical.
So, have you guys watched the movie recently? Or did you watch it in preparation for this panel? Do you think it held up over 30 years?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, for me, again, I hadn't seen it since I was in elementary school. And yeah, again, I almost found it like scarier than I did when I was a kid. I think maybe partially just because I understand more. But yeah, I think one reason why it stands up is because while there is CGI, I mean, they use like actual, like I don't know the correct term, but like the robots.
Practical effects.
Yes.
Animatronics.
Yes. And that's, I think, if they didn't do that, I don't think it would have held up.
Yeah, CGI has a way of can look very dated, especially at the time that this came out was before the real intense shading and real intense detailing and the advancements in technology. So there are definitely the scenes like when we were watching the raptor scene where you know it's CGI because they're like jumping on tables and stuff like that. That would have been very hard to do. And you can see that it looks like a ROM game character. It looks like a CD character. But with the practical effects and having them like walking and tapping their toes and stuff like that, that still holds up incredibly well. And it's very good. It is everything with the close shots of the Tyrannosaurus Rex herself is excellent. Because now the other ones where she's like in distance and you can see banging against the thing, stuff like that. But the iconic scene where they put the flashlight in the dinosaur's eye and it dilates, it's chilling. Because that's like, it's not a toy, it's not fake, it's real. And it feels real.
Mm-hmm. There are, rewatching it very recently, it's the older I get, having my own child adds another level to what this movie means to me. So it's another one of those movies that absolutely holds up, right? Even the CG, like what we would consider now to be low quality or mistakes, are because of the limits of the technology.
Yeah.
Spielberg's directing is really what makes this movie stand out, because it wasn't the only movie in that 2 or 3 year period where they did pretty much have the same technology and they had the same tools. You know, duh, of course they did. But Spielberg was able to follow through and go, okay, these things need to have weight, they need to have presence, they need to make realistic noises. Everything needs to make this work. It's not just, can we make the CG better? No, we can't. You have to give us a few years, Steve. But just the idea that he was able to wrangle the technologies and intermix them so that we felt connected to the dinosaurs still works. 30 years later, yeah, those CG dinosaurs, 30 years ago, and you still feel the Tyrannosaurus Rex pounding across the landscape. I'm reminded of that bit where you see the T-Rex in the rearview mirror, objects in mirror, larger. Great joke. It's still a meme. Still floats around. And so so there's moments like that where a kind of a good director would have gotten us to understand the joke, but Spielberg made us feel the jokes with the dinosaurs in the room. So.
Yeah, I think he talked about the thing that he really, one of his main things was making the dinosaurs feel real. And that's why he really just wanted to do the animatronics and not rely on the CGI. But they convinced him it could work and he liked it, but he wanted the T-Rex to be real. He wanted to build one. He wanted everyone to feel it because of his experience with Jaws. He relied on animatronic and it failed him. But he learned a lot about the anticipation and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to compare that to Jaws because, you know, there's the scene where you see the bronchiosaurs and they're going by, and that's so cool and so amazing. But when we see what is the quote-unquote monster, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the big appeal, it's much more powerful to see parts of it and then get an idea of the scale of it.
Oh yeah. One of the scariest parts of the film the first time is when all you see is the one hand of the T-Rex, and it's going, this electric fence is not on.
And start pulling it down.
And it as an adult, it doesn't take a lot of energy to go, the fence is off, the T-Rex is right there, there's meat on the other side of the fence, and there are heroes. So that moment just gives you a second to go, oh boy, something's about to happen and it's going to be terrible. And it is. So yeah, he does a very good job with bits and pieces. I would almost love to do a discussion later about, is the movie Jaws why we have Jurassic Park? And it's as good as this. And yeah, I think I know you're going to answer. But yeah, I never thought about that before. Bruce, the shark from Jaws,
Anthony was saying, yeah.
maybe one of the reasons why this movie is so good. It's like, take Jaws out, then what did Jurassic Park turn out to be? Yeah.
Yeah, but his experience on Jaws was he had to change the way he wanted the movie to go because Bruce wasn't doing what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Rarely.
And I think that benefited us all in the long run.
Yeah.
I had the unfortunate pleasure of watching Sharknado right before I watched this, and so I'm watching like how CGI has taken like steps back. But I know the budget was a little bit different. But
Just a little.
Just a little bit different. But that was still 30 years ago. That was still 30 years ago. It's not like watching Tron and then you watch the new Tron and you're like, okay, it's vastly different.
Yeah.
But you're watching Jurassic Park and you see CGI raptors and you see the CGI sharks. Yeah, no. This is not funny. It's not funny. Do you think that the movies today can elicit that same response? For example, I watched Meg and Meg 2, which are maybe similar movies, especially. Has anyone seen Meg 2?
Yep.
No? Well,
I have, yeah. I have.
I won't spoil it, but it has a very similar feel to it as far as encountering prehistoric animals, and they're scary. Do you think we have gotten to the point where the movies are just as good as Jurassic Park, the first one? So we're going to talk about the other Jurassic Parks later, but we're going to.
Do we have to? Oh, sorry.
Yes, we have
Okay,
to.
okay. So like, if you were, in my head, I'm changing the question to, what's the movie after Jurassic Park that was Jurassic Park? And I'm going to go with, no, I can't think of one. Like, is there?
They don't do a lot of new movies. Like that's the thing. Like even Meg, like they're very heavily inspired by like Jaws and stuff. I think also I feel like when people try to make like a big blockbuster hit, it doesn't always work. Anytime Steven Spielberg makes something, I think, But I feel like when it's just like, hey, we're gonna make this, and just kind of like hope it, you know? But there was so much adventure. It was just more than one type of movie, and it's hard to do that now.
So if I think about that sort of, and you know, like plot-wise, goodness of movie-wise, no, but the awe effect, I would say, when Avatar, the Blue People one, first came out. And that's the first time we saw that IMAX 3D technology. My dad and I went to a preview of it months before it came out. It was incredible. It was amazing. It's standard these days. You can always go see an IMAX version of a big movie. But when it first came out, and there's these beautiful colors, and they're just in your face, and it's the red, blue 3D. It was amazing. And we got tickets for the movie that day, and it was on the same day as one of my finals in high school, and we still went at midnight. So I would say that caught some of that similar, oh my God, amazing technology combined with amazing artists do it. Now, like I said, the plot is nowhere near as good as Jurassic Park, obviously, but the technology and how beautifully used that technology was at the time, like I said, it's hard to go back to that time because it's now so standard that everything is IMAX 3D and everything is beautiful like that. But with Avatar, that was that feeling.
As with a lot of things, I think even going back to Star Wars, is that the motion picture industry took the wrong lesson from special effects. Special effects, and a lot of special effects down the blockbuster. No, you got to have a good story and relatable characters, and then special effects.
Yep.
And that's the problem with all these movies since then, is you don't have the relatable characters and really some sympathy for the monster.
Yeah, that's true.
When building a story, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, they took a lot of inspiration from the serials, where your heroes were always in constant peril. And it was sort of a rhythm to it. Every time they get out of a situation, they're in another situation. And Jurassic Park is just one perilous situation for our heroes after another, and they don't catch a break. It's almost as if after Jurassic Park came out, even the people who did the sequels, there's a checklist that you have to go down. You have to have this, you have to have this, you have to have this, and they don't remember the lessons of.
Yeah.
It also became redundant, really redundant after that. It's like they just wanted to replicate the first film and it just got out of control.
That's
Yeah, but it's, well, I mean, aspiring to reproduce the magic of the original Jurassic Park, that's a good aspiration, but it just is such a, it's a disaster for this.
And it also became a headache because after the first film, it's just, they wanted to make more money and the plot got stupider.
Yeah, they did, they did some dumb stuff in some of the sequels.
Yeah, and I wanted to say you made an excellent point about Avatar, because that's actually where I was going. Avatar had that, Jurassic Park was sitting there like, Avatar comes out, and it's the same thing.
It is the same wow
Yeah,
thing.
it's the
Yeah.
same, the same sense of awe, right? The same sense of wonder. Story, not so much.
Not so much, yeah.
We had seen it in Fern, but that's in the discussion.
And Pocahontas and all
That's
that.
it, yeah.
We don't talk about
Yeah. Unobtainium.
If you can't get that same sense from watching it over and over, then that's not enough.
Yeah, no, with Jurassic Park, you can watch it again and still get the sense of awe, and because it's well done. You can still get that even though the technology is obviously, 30, 25 years older than Avatar. If you watch Avatar again on your home television, where it's not surround sound and it's not 3D, it doesn't have the same effect because the story is not as strong.
I would also say if you don't watch it on the big Jurassic Park on the big screen, you haven't really watched it.
Yeah. We watch Jurassic Park at least once a year, and it's almost as if we had never seen it before. Like all the other movies that we watch at home that we've seen before, we can talk during the movie.
Yeah.
We make comments.
It's a Christmas tradition in my house to watch Jurassic Park on my birthday and at Christmas. So you're right, it's not the same.
It's not, but and you sit there and we're just silent the whole time. Every other movie we're making comments like, why didn't they do Jurassic Park?
There's no talking.
Yeah, and my wife was doing work. She was trying to do work while it was on.
Good luck.
And she stopped and she started watching because it's one of her favorite movies. So like she made the slide. She's like, you have to have a slide. You have to have a slide.
I want to say for the record, that slide is awesome.
It's beautiful.
I was going to ask, so yeah.
She loves Jurassic Park. My nephew does too. He had a kid. I know this is off the subject. He had kids too. He was, he was around 99, I think. And he would put Jurassic Park in, and for some reason, when we set it up, it was age locked.
Oh.
So he had to come get us every time to come unlock it, so
I
he could watch
remember
it
those
kids
days.
too. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But it does hold up. The sense of awe is kind of missing, I think, in the current movies that's coming out. like I said, the Meg is a fun ride, but it doesn't have the same emotion as this movie.
And the story is not the same.
Well, with the first Jurassic World, I feel like they almost had it, because there was a moment.
Almost, yeah.
They almost had it. There was a moment where they said, well, don't we know that's what dinosaurs don't look like anymore? And they said, audiences don't care about that. They want bigger, more and more teeth. And that felt like something, they had something to say. They had something poignant to say about dinosaurs, to say about what audiences expect from monster movies, from the Meg, from stuff like that. They don't care if it's realistic, they want more teeth. And they had a moment of that, or that moment where she's running with the Tyrannosaurus behind her. That's a powerful moment, but that movie had only moments. And that's the problem with it, is that it did not also, and that's something that I wanted to bring up with the book, is if you've read the book, there's no awe in the book. There's no, oh my God, there are dinosaurs, this is so cool. It's, these are a problem. These are a lawsuit. These are an asset. These are exploited.
But it's a book.
But it's also the moral thing.
Yeah.
If you are reading Crichton's Jurassic Park novel, which I've read, I think, about 7 times, it's a book. If you don't know anything about dinosaurs, what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, fighting words here.
I love fighting words.
We'll go to the
10
next.
a.m. fighting words.
The book can't show you what a brachiosaur looks like. If you don't know what a brachiosaur looks like, you don't get the same sense that you would in the movie, where it's so, especially in the theater, where it is the entire screen is nothing but one big dinosaur
Sure.
eating the tops off of very tall trees. I'm not saying that one is better, one or the other is better, but like, what?
But I
know you are. I'll come at you on that
Okay.
one. But my point is that the amazing visual spectacle that is Jurassic Park is, a lot of it is an amazing visual spectacle.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm hoping that we will get into the story problems with the movie,
Very much so.
but we might not, because Aubrey and I might come to blows here.
Come to blows on it.
I would love to see that.
So, my thing, and you know, I'm not dissing the book, because obviously the book deserves respect, but the book was written as a means to a movie, and it reads like it.
I disagree.
You can disagree, that's totally fine.
And I do.
And you do. But the characters are placeholders for the plot. All of them. They introduce things by speaking it, by doing dialogue, which is what you would do in a movie. A lot of them, the chapters end by someone putting down a phone and walking off the stage, basically. It was a means to a movie. It made an amazing movie. But and like I said, full respect to it, but reading it again, when you're not like, oh my God, dinosaurs, because I'm always like, oh my God, dinosaurs. But reading again and looking at it again, it is a means to a movie, a means to a great movie, but it is a means to a movie.
So?
I mean, that's what you're like. If that's what you're fine with, then that's what you're fine with.
Well, no. I'm not saying that the book wouldn't have been better if it wasn't Michael Crichton, who had already directed 3 of his own books as movies.
That's true.
Was it 2 or 3 at this
I think
point?
it was 2.
He directed Westworld, which was his story.
Which was also great.
Yeah, but like the idea that Crichton is sitting here going, let's see, they've got this huge truck full of money coming down my driveway.
No.
Yeah.
But we've had this conversation many times on these panels, is if you are a popular creator and someone is willing to give you millions of dollars, there's a certain point where all of us would go, yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, no, I'm not dissing him or calling him, you know, I'm not saying that he sold out or anything.
Oh, he did.
Because he, well, there are some things, but that I could argue with Michael Crichton. But
Yes.
there are some things for sure. But like I'm saying, this is just my opinion. Is the movie made? There are rare exceptions where the movie is better than the book, and I think in this case the movie is better than the book because he's hurting over here because he doesn't have that sense of awe about dinosaurs.
I think that's a very interesting take.
That's my take.
Next time you say you're wrong.
No,
Well,
I don't want to.
No, it's okay.
This is a safe space.
Yeah, it's
Other than seeing my Darren.
It is a safe space, Darren. Okay.
okay.
But I think the lesson from the book and taking the lessons that we're supposed to take out of the book, playing with nature, playing God, that is what was carried over into the movie. And I think it was two very different vehicles to say the same thing. That's what Michael Crichton was really trying to say.
Yeah.
So whether or not he wanted it to become a movie or whatever, I think the main thing is that we understand that as people, we have to be responsible with the technology. And that seems like a common theme through Michael Crichton's work.
Oh, yeah.
If you read
All
Oh,
of his
yeah.
work, yeah.
Absolutely.
Westworld.
It's like Black Mirror on paper. You know, you have all this wonderful technology, but there's a dark side to it if you don't be careful. And I think that's what really appealed to me as an adult, as opposed to a teenager, is we really are messing with things that we shouldn't mess with, and it can get out of control.
Well, it's a lot like with later into the book. The genetic engineering is, there are consequences when you play with fire and God. You're gonna get. I think it's more or less. I think Jurassic Park, the book, is more or less about dinosaurs than the consequence of messing.
Yes,
messing
exactly.
with creation. The movie's more. Let's just put a bunch of dinosaurs in it, and less about.
It's definitely is that, and because of the way that the book, even the way the book introduces dinosaurs is with one of the more horrific scenes
Yes.
of what dinosaurs do to a child.
Yeah.
So that's that's exactly what I'm saying is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the movie is about the awe but also the danger,
Yes.
and the book is mostly about the danger.
Mhm.
And I think that's totally fine. But there's part of me that's still the dinosaur kid who wants to know about the dinosaurs and who wants to go, oh my God, they're beautiful dinosaurs. They're animals. They can be vicious, but that's their instinct. It's not their fault.
No.
And we are the one who is abusing our ability to take care of them. And I'm like, that's also in the Crichton books, I feel, but not to the same extent. That awe of being a dinosaur kid is just not in the Crichton book.
Yeah.
I would, on that note, I feel like the movie would not be what it is if it didn't have kids in it. And I feel like they purposely did that to feed on that.
Yes.
Feed on the fact that the awe of being a kid, but also, I think part of the reason why I find them more intense now is because I've taken care of children, I've been in charge of keeping them alive, and I genuinely think that's part of like the intensity of it. And I feel like that's more scary than like trying to keep like somebody safe. And I think the kids, like for me, even now, like the kids' reaction is what I think makes it. I think those kids, well, I think they're probably told, be a kid who is scared of dying. Like, they make the movie.
Especially the goat scene.
Oh, the goat.
I love the goat scene.
What's gonna happen?
What's gonna happen to the goat?
He's gonna have him for dinner.
I think one of the things that Spielberg tapped into through Grant, I've always thought that as an audience we were supposed to be Grant.
Yeah.
Because we are the kids who like the dinosaurs, and that's what we wanted to see. We want to excavate and play with it. We want to talk about dinosaurs, and he actually has the opportunity to do so. But in that, we have this subplot between him and Ellie. Ellie asks him about, don't you want to have kids? And he's like, I can smell.
They smell.
They smell and they're expensive.
And they're expensive, right? But as the movie goes on, he starts to care for these kids. He starts to be sort of a father to them throughout the movie.
And that personal character journey, like you're saying, also not in the book, but that's important to it because even if everything else is going on, it's the fact that we get it personalized by another human being going through it, feeling that fear, feeling that protectiveness. What they feel is what we feel. So that is my thesis on why the movie is superior.
But also the way they've got Grant and a few kids set up is you've got almost a Freudian sort of setup of the representations. You've got Timmy who's just dinosaurs, right to the point of silliness and danger, and then you've got his sister who again I can't remember her name.
It's okay.
It's Ariana Richardson, I think.
Yeah.
Ariana Richards.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's there to be the person who's just
Lex.
like fear, thank you. Fear, and Unix, apparently.
Yeah.
And then Grant is sort of the balance between the two. He's the wise, experienced, knowledge adult who's trying to control the situation, even though there is no controlling the situation. So they do a very good job of balancing all of that out and letting everybody have a voice in those situations. Like when the Gallimimus come up over the hill, and the girl is like, they're coming to eat us, and the boy is like, let's watch them eat us, and Grant is like, can we get down behind this log and not die? Yeah. And the conclusion of that scene is so much blood.
I love it.
Timmy.
Yeah. Calm down, child.
And then the electrocute, that was fun.
I think it's Lex who says, I want to go now.
Go now. I want to go now. Now let's go.
Yeah.
But there are moments in that movie that are very memorable. Do you guys have any moments that stand out to you? Any scenes that call to you?
Okay, so poor Les getting sneezed on by a brachiosaur.
Like getting sneezed on by a brachiosaur.
Probably,
Oh, so good.
probably some of the largest nostrils that have ever existed.
Yep.
And she is trying so
So
hard to get
hard.
out of her shell, and she's like, okay, it's a big cow snatch, right? It's and the look on her face is perfect.
It's so good.
Her brother's reaction, where he's like laughing at her pain, is
Yeah.
perfect. I have a younger brother. There is just this wonderful sense of the reality of what if these gigantic cows came by and were trying to eat out of the tree you were sitting in. But also, the reason why the brachiosaurus sneezed on her is part of the story that the movie doesn't cover, like, at all, but the book goes into great detail about, which is one of the problems I have with the movie is, I know it's for an audience that likes teeth and blood and stuff,
Yeah.
but there's also that element of the story where it's like, okay, that dinosaur has a head cold, and its head cold is part of the larger story.
Yep.
But the movie goes, it's not.
It's not
The,
sneezing.
More funny though.
the sneezing joke, we'll put in the sneezing joke, but we're not going to waste time explaining the sneezing joke.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's anything with the velociraptors in it, because I love the velociraptors.
They're so adorable.
They're wonderful. I love them. The velociraptors are great. I think Clever Girl scene is probably one of my favorite ones. Clever Girl. But, the kitchen scene is also great
That's
with
a great
them
one.
being chasing and stuff like that. And the tapping of the toe
It's like
is
the-
the best. It's so good.
For me, like one of the most intense parts does not have any dinosaurs. It's the electric fence.
Oh, I love
That
that.
was great tension.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I honestly think that was like the most tense part of the whole movie, which I think is funny because I don't think of dinosaurs. But that, and then also like them being in a tree, and like them like, I don't know. I love how the protective part and him just being.
Like a treehouse.
Yeah, but also I'm trying to make sure that the kids don't get too scared.
For me, it's sort of, there's a connection between scenes when Ian Malcolm is talking about, what y'all doing here? Life is going to find a way. And then the scene later when Grant finds the eggs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he stops and he looks at him. I'm seeing like, oh my God, Ian was right. And then he picks up the eggs and he starts smelling them. And that, for some reason, that scene is always very visceral for me.
Yeah.
It's in the context of the movie. The other scene is the escape. Grant and the kids escaped from the T-Rex
Yeah.
in the car. And my heart was beating so fast. This was like 3 days ago. My heart was beating so fast while he was trying to get him out of the car. When the entrance, he's like, come on, just get him out of the car. Just do it. And I don't, every time I see that scene, I get, my heart.
That's the good horror movie stuff where you're just like, just grab his foot, just pull him. It's okay. You can make
Oh,
it.
yeah. If you're not yelling at the screen during the in the tree scene, something's wrong with you because you're just like. I think Timmy has one of the best jokes of the whole movie. Well, we're back in the car.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I'm yelling at the screen, going, "Don't climb down,
Climb.
sideways. Go into the car and you." One of the things I love about the legacy of this film is if you go online, you will find people arguing about the story. I've never run into anybody arguing about the effects.
Oh, yeah.
People don't spend their time going, well, the T-Rex's nose didn't actually make contact with the electric Jeep. Well, okay, what they're arguing about is the fact that how did the Jeep fall so far in a spot where the T-Rex was standing just
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
actually, but if you look at the map of the park, there is the place where the goat feeding happens, and then there's a drop.
And then there's a drop next
So
to
in
it,
the
yeah.
actual schematics of the park, which of course are fake, but
Uh,
in the park schematics, there is this great big pit which is probably, it's water control, right? It's part of the plumbing,
Yes.
but it's right there. So the T-Rex is standing on a platform right next to a big pit, and the trees are growing in that pit. So that's what people are arguing about, is how did that Jeep get down into that tree, into that hole that shouldn't be there? No. It should be there, but also they're not arguing about does it stand up,
Does it
are
stand
the
up?
dinosaurs cool? Yeah.
That's not even the question, yeah. Not
Well,
even worried about.
what has always bothered me about that scene is how long did it take Ellie to get down there, see the tracks, and then get back up for them to finally in? That has always bothered me because I can't imagine she climbs that fast. Like maybe she climbs that fast. Like where did she climb down? Is there an access tunnel she went through? Is there an access?
And then they
ladder?
just didn't show
And
it
they
to
didn't
us?
show it. But how would she even know that was there?
She would.
So I had all these questions about that scene, but I just threw them all out.
Also, the music's really good in that movie.
Yeah.
I just want to make that remark, because the John Lennon just always does a good job.
Oh, yeah.
But the music, when you see them approach the Brachiosaurus eating the tree in the Jeep,
Mhm.
that's just, you cannot beat the theme of
Oh, no, the
Jurassic
music's
Park.
gorgeous.
I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, but that leads to a subversive aspect of the movie I want to talk about. We were all in wonder of all these genetically enhanced and genetically modified dinosaurs, which aren't the dinosaurs that we know and love.
Yes.
These are monsters,
Yeah.
correct?
They're
They're monsters.
They're hybrids.
the best way I can use this is freaks. Because I'm not sure I would go full on monsters because I think they're animals doing what animals do. But they're freaks of nature because people have decided, they took some dinosaur DNA and they were like, but this is what I want it to look like. Or I want them all to be girls. So they are freaks of nature, but they are animals in a way. And we've had this debate all weekend about what a monster is. I think in the moment that the Tyrannosaurus is attacking the Jeep, you're like, that's obviously the monster.
No.
But it's like, what are you expecting from them? Like, what do you expect them to do that they're like, this was caused by your own hubris.
Mhm.
So what do you expect them to be doing?
And also, is Alan his name?
Alan
Alan Grant.
Alan Grant.
Yeah.
Alan Grant.
He says, like, he literally says to the kids at one point, they're not monsters, they're animals. Like,
Yeah. Trying to comfort her because she's just everything with teeth is going to kill her, and that's just not true.
Yeah.
There's but also and we've been talking about what is a monster all weekend. Nedry's the monster.
Yeah.
Because his selfishness, I'm wondering if he actually gets more people killed than the dinosaurs eat. The book and the movie, this is different, but I'm just sitting here going, how many of those deaths are actually directly on him?
Almost all.
All the velociraptors, absolutely.
So that is one difference also between the book and the movie is John Hammond. And
John Hammond's
how-
a real monster.
how ruthless capitalism and venture capitalist he is in the book. Or just sort of even just bureaucratic capitalism he is in the book. Because they took all of that, made John Hammond this sort of Santa Claus character of wonder and awe and spared no expense and stuff like that. But they took all of that and put it into one character, into Nedry, into the lawyer. And so I would say maybe over a long run, he ends up getting more people killed or that ideal, that package it, sell it, ship it, put people in the plastic spheres and send them through, that idea, that ruthless pursuit of profit, despite danger, despite science, despite all of these things, is what gets people killed more than dinosaurs get people killed. But that individual character, I don't think so. But what he represents, yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Who's the face of it?
Nedry in the movies, but Hammond in the books.
See, I would argue that even Hammond in the movie is very problematic.
Yeah.
Because
No,
he's
He's not that
Right.
concerned about his brain.
he's the cause. I mean, there's no question he's the cause.
yeah, and Malcolm literally says, you never stopped to think about whether or not you should do
these
this. And Grant says you are taking two things that are 150 million years apart that were never meant to be together. And you don't know what's going to happen. That's a very dangerous thing. It was extremely reckless for him to do it
Oh, yeah.
in the pursuit of creating these wild moments and making money. Even though I guess in the movie he wasn't as concerned about that. he was just caught up in the wonder, but he never stopped to think.
Yeah.
He
It's totally
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Do
Like-
this? Like, is this?
Like making one T-Rex is something, but making a dozen velociraptors. Like I want to be in the room for that meeting because somebody in that room was like, oh, they're just velociraptors. It's no big deal.
They're just velociraptors.
No, you know, it wasn't the guy who walks up. What was the game hunter's name? What's his name?
Oh, what was it?
Roland.
Roland walks up, Brand turns to him, and the first thing Roland says, I told them to destroy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally his
They
first
should all be
line.
destroyed.
They should all be
That's
destroyed.
another thing is why did they make carnivores? Why did they make any carnivores? Because you basically have a brachiosaurus, which is like an elephant. And it can be fed, it can be kept, it's not necessarily aggressive unless it's threatened. You have Triceratops, slightly more aggressive because that's what they're designed to be.
It's like a rhino.
It's a rhino, but it can also be kept. You have even compies, which are basically vultures. They can be kept because they're only about a foot tall.
Yep.
They had to make the Tyrannosaurus for capitalism,
And
to
the
sell
Dilophosaurus
it,
for
to
that
package
matter.
it.
Well, bigger in teeth.
Bigger in teeth.
Bigger in
Yeah.
teeth.
Exactly. Which is that point that is the one really good salient point in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always had issues with zoos and
Yep.
SeaWorld and all
Yeah.
that stuff
Mhm.
because, you know, the animals and they're not, especially circuses, I hate circuses.
Yeah.
Animals aren't meant for you to just train them to perform when that's not really what they want to do.
Yeah.
Just because a elephant remembers everything doesn't mean you should train it to hold each other's hand and walk around in a circle.
Yeah.
Well, they don't really do that anymore.
I know.
Which is good.
It's just
Yeah.
very good. Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah, and you know, like last time I went to SeaWorld, I could tell that things had started to change.
Yeah.
Like, they don't keep the whales anymore.
So, yeah, that's the thing, I agree with you with like SeaWorld, it's very obvious to tell, but and these are with good zoos, mind you, there is some educational value to teaching children by taking like 3 lions and having them be an example of what lions are, teaching a generation of children to respect nature, to care for it, not to hunt it irresponsibly, because there is some responsible hunting, but also teaching people that awe and that somewhat fear, that respect of nature has some value. Am I saying that no, they exploit it. Zoos exploit animals, they do, but it can be done more responsibly. And I think that Jurassic Park, if it wasn't a profit motive, if it was something like a nature preserve, if it was something more like a zoo that, you know, tries to take care of its animals, that does its research, that actually can interact with some of its animals. So I would start with smaller dinosaurs and, you know, vegetarian dinosaurs. It could have been done responsibly in a way that was of mutual benefit to the world by bringing a heightened awareness, the exact opposite way that Jaws did with sharks.
Yeah.
And that's my agreement, but.
And Hammond's first red flag was that the people he brought, who he thought would be on his side, were against him.
Yep.
And they have a blood-sucking
The
lawyer.
blood-sucking lawyer.
He's the one who's on board because they're all bigger than me.
And he got eaten, which was the funniest scene.
Yeah.
After being chicken.
Well, I loved it.
Oh, yeah. There is a YouTuber named Legal Eagle
I love
who will go and he'll watch our favorite movies, and then he will talk about the crimes that were committed during the movie. The Jurassic Park crimes committed video of his is hysterical.
Oh, it's so good.
I've seen it.
Because
It is
he's just constantly going criminal negligence, criminal negligence, criminal negligence, criminal negligence, criminal negligence.
Child of nature, man.
Child
Yeah,
endangerment, you know,
Yeah.
OSHA violations at least.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Many OSHA violations.
Very.
But also, there's this one great bit at the beginning where he goes, wait, all this money and they can't have a machine open the gate? They gotta get a human being to climb on top of the box with the carnivore in it and open the gate, man.
Yes.
And I was just like, good for you. Good for
so tough.
you. Yeah.
The question that my wife and I always argue about is, if Nedry had not done what he did, would the park have been successful?
No. I don't think so.
So if you take Nedry out of it, I would say that it would fail one way or another. There would be a thunderstorm. A hurricane there where they are. There would be, you know, some important person would have got eaten by a velociraptor and the velociraptors would be out. There were so many ways that this could fail. That was just the one that happened.
It's very nice.
That's my opinion.
It
Yeah.
might not have, I think it would have maybe passed and like actually been made. And then I think, like, eventually, no, it would be like somebody would decide to climb into the Velociraptor thing
Yeah.
to get like a hat or something. And then, yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Because they do that with roller coasters.
There's
So,
a-
like, I dropped my phone.
Yeah, a teenage boy who dropped his hat into the Velociraptor pit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
There's in there also the flaw with the computer, where they told the computer to locate all,
Okay,
And then they only have
No, you
one
can
IT person.
and they want to.
she's stealing my answer.
No, you can have that.
There you go.
Take it.
Go ahead.
Go on.
You sure?
Yes.
You started?
No, but I already
Go
said
ahead.
something, so we can.
So there is this great moment in the book, which is not addressed in the movie at all, which is another one of the reasons why I'm like, this is part of why I call it hubris, the park. Is they go in, I'd buy a ticket to Hubris the park. The computer system is told how many dinosaurs they bred. And because of the way computers work, it does exactly what they tell it to, which is to count up to that many dinosaurs and then stop. And Ian Malcolm has an argument with the guy going, just humor me, just turn that off. And they're like, there's no point. They're all women. They can't breed like that. And of course, all the scientifically based people in the audience are going, wait, what about the frogs? Anyway. So the technician finally, after Malcolm like browbeats him about it, he turns that off and they run the scan, and there are 3 times as many dinosaurs on the island as they're supposed to be.
Yep.
Way before any of the hilarity ensues. So if the question, will the park be successful without Nedry? No.
No.
But you have to go back to the book, because in the book, every aspect of the park is this incredibly arrogant way of going, we're in control, and we're so in control, we're not going to count heads, we're going to tell the computer how many heads there are to count.
Yeah,
That
that's,
never works.
no, and that's the thing
Terrible.
is
Yeah.
because that's just it, it's the population thing. The park is just barely balanced on the head of a pin. It could tilt in any direction, and it literally just was, this happened to be the event. I would love to see fan fictions and alternate reality where some other people are in the park. They don't have visitors. They have a billionaire come in and he's the first tourist or something like that. Because it would happen no matter what. That ecosystem was so delicately balanced, and they just didn't, like the table last night, they didn't realize how the table was tipping until something fell. But it was completely tipped, they just didn't notice.
Well, in the movie, I think Dr. Malcolm and Ellie are the 2 things that tell us what's going to happen.
Mhm.
She says, you have all these things together that aren't supposed to be together.
Like the
They're
plants,
completely
like the
different.
plants.
Right, they,
Yeah.
The poisonous plants.
Yeah.
which they never explain how they got the plants, though.
They never did explain that, did they?
They never explain
Yeah.
But also, it's one line of dialogue,
Yeah.
and it's one of the most important single lines of dialogue in the movie. And then he grabs her by the head and goes, no one cares about your plants.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
And
incredibly important because it sets up how, and that's another thing in the movie, is that they set up early on what the flaws of the park are. The plants is one of them, but when they get in the helicopter and Dr. Grant is trying to do his seatbelt, he's got 2 female seatbelts.
Yeah.
And he ties them together and it's a seatbelt.
Yeah.
And he literally just tells you, this is the problem with the park.
Well, but also, it's great character development.
Oh, yeah.
Because not only is everyone around him telling him how to fix it, but he fixes it in the wrong way anyway. But then he's got this smile on his face like, I fixed it.
I'm gonna work.
Yeah.
And when he says we have a licensing contention where, oh yeah, we left out license, we left out that, whatever.
That enzyme, yeah.
Yeah, and then you say, and I'm sitting in the audience, this is even as a teenager, like, just having come out of chemistry. I'm saying like, but are they sure that some of these plants
Don't have what, because obviously they don't know what the plants are.
Yeah.
Can I talk about the Triceratops?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, full disclosure, Triceratops is my boy.
There you go.
My favorite dinosaur since I was 5, always. That's my boy. The Triceratops scene in the movie is another one of those lost opportunities. The fact that there is a full-size animatronic Triceratops lying on its side, sick, having a tummy ache, that is a gorgeous scene.
It is.
The bit where Grant is lying on it and it's breathing and moving,
And moving him as it
so
Yes.
awesome.
So amazing.
One of the funniest jokes in the movie, that is one big pile of dinosaur poop.
Poop.
Yeah, and the whole thing about you're gonna wash your hands before dinner, and just the obvious childlike jokes about dinosaur poop, awesome. But they go to a lot of detail, like they have the mechanical Triceratops eye, and they shine the light, and they do a lot of
Yeah,
eye
eye
shining.
stuff, because
A
that
lot
makes
of
it
eye
real.
stuff, yeah. So Ellie does her botany genius stuff, and she's looking, she's like, this is a pharmacological response, which is great. I think that was technically accurate. The thing is, a tummy gets sick. The guy, the warden, the game warden, who has like 4 lines in the whole movie.
Yeah.
We missed him.
Yeah.
He's like describing what they're seeing, and then that's it.
Yeah.
No,
And if you've read the book, it's an incredibly important moment in the book because it is another example of where the dinosaurs go, we don't care what your rules are, we have to survive. Does anybody want me to explain why the Triceratops is sick?
Yes.
It's the plant that it eats, right?
So here's the thing, is the Triceratops, among other dinosaurs, these are the big herbivores, right? The Triceratops' beak can pinch through a tree this big around, right? Like an 8-inch wide pine tree, they can just go right through it in one bite. They're big herbivores, and they eat. So one of the things that Crichton put in the book, based on the current knowledge of paleontology, is that Triceratops have gizzards, like chickens do.
Yeah.
And so what the Triceratops were doing was they were eating what they want to eat, but then they also needed to go get gizzard stones. They had to swallow rocks. And so the only place where they could get river rocks that they liked, because they're doing what they want to do, not what we want to do, was where there were these patches of poisonous berries growing.
Yeah.
So they would eat the rocks and the berries and get sick.
Yep. That's true.
And that is such an important aspect of the human arrogance, but also the wonderment of what Crichton put into his dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It's just this amazing opportunity that I think was squandered.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
That's really cool.
thank you for indulging me on this.
No, that
Oh,
is
that's
really
cool.
cool. I just, it just shows that we need like a 3-hour cut of this movie. but-
We should so do that one day.
Yeah, I could sit through 4 hours. Of
I could absolutely sit through, like, if anything should be a 2-parter, at that point it would be a 2-parter and not be something like Endgame, but.
Okay, so is it time for an Amazon Prime or a Netflix 10-hour series?
With just, as
of
long
just
as,
the first book?
as long as they got the spirit of the movie, then I would watch it.
Well, yeah.
If it's a completely faithful adaptation of the book, I would not watch it.
Yeah, we knew that.
But we knew that.
We had that a couple of years back. What was that one TV show that was kind of like that?
What was that?
Well, it was time travel, but it kind of reminded me of Jurassic Park.
Ooh.
I don't know.
It was on TV for like 2 seconds.
I think it was a British show, wasn't it?
No, it was an American show. The planet was dying, they had to go back.
Oh, was it La Brea?
Yes.
Oh,
La
that's
Brea.
Yeah.
Was it La Brea? What was the one?
Oh, no, it was the one before La
Oh,
Brea.
yeah.
It was something like,
Stephen Lang from Avatar?
yeah, Stephen
Yes.
Lang from Avatar was the general. They went back in
Uh-huh.
time because of population issues.
Exactly.
I think it's something like, it's not primeval, but it's something like that.
Yeah.
It's something like that word.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those people were from Stargate.
Yeah, a lot of those people were from
Yes.
Stargate.
I remember.
That was a great show. Why did it make it?
I don't know. I loved it. It so reminded me of Jurassic Park. Like the texture and the designs were basically Jurassic Park, and they were like,
And they didn't continue the show.
And I was very upset
Because
about
it was
that.
just, that's because it was slightly too early for the streaming budget.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just slightly though, and that's the shame.
If it were released now streaming.
Oh, it would be
It'd be
incredible,
successful.
and that's just it, it definitely, and it did have the dinosaur awe, but it also had the dinosaur danger.
Yes.
That was going to be my next question. Should they be a reboot or a remake or a series of this show?
I'm tired.
That's me.
Not the way that they're currently doing it.
I
If they
don't-
could do it like the way they did the original one. But like, I don't want a Jurassic World series. I don't even want a Jurassic Park 3 series. Jurassic Park 2 could be discussed.
So the subtitle of any of the Jurassic World movies could be, we weren't paying attention the first time.
Yeah.
No, it's even in the movie. Some of the
Terra Nova.
Terra Nova, very good.
Yes, thank you.
Some of the characters in the Jurassic World movies are like, wait, what happened to the first part?
Yeah.
Did you read about the first part? The first part? The first
And the
part?
guy wearing the t-shirt.
He said, don't you think that's insensitive? A bunch of people died. And it was like, I got it on eBay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you know that's real.
Oh, no, that's for sure.
That's a real
That's,
t-shirt.
that's very human.
I was about to say, you can't tell me there aren't like Columbine t-shirts out there. So,
Oh, there are lots. There
I
are
mean-
lots. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I would submit there is one moment in one of the Jurassic World movies that is actually worth watching.
Mhm.
And actually, I've seen them all, I've enjoyed it, but not like Jurassic Park. obviously. And I can't remember if it's the first Jurassic World movie or the second one, because it's been a long time since I've seen them. But the island's exploding, they barely get off, and as they pull away, there's, I think, is a Brachiosaurus maybe, is left there looking after them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know, it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
yeah, it
That's a
doesn't
good moment, yeah.
sound,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're just like devastated.
Yeah.
And that's
on
like the
docks.
one moment in the 3 Jurassic World movies
Yeah, like I said,
where you feel like, wow, you know?
they had moments, they just never put all their moments
Yeah.
together.
Well,
That-
but also,
That's like the one moment that and Chris Pratt going,
With the, which
yeah,
was
or like the only
cool
things I
around.
remember.
but there are fabulous moments in all of the movies, all 6 of the movies.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's why I have a whole
It's,
set.
yeah, I got all of them. I got all of them. I admit it.
I'm good.
But also, did you notice which dinosaur it was that died on the docks in the fireball?
Yeah, it was the Brachiosaur.
Brachiosaur.
Yeah.
And why did they pick the Brachiosaur to do
Oh,
that?
that's the one you always.
That's the very first one you saw. Yes. So they're bookmarking from beginning to end within that moment, and it's a beautiful decision.
It
Yeah.
is.
I was crying like
Yeah.
a 5-year-old child.
I still remember
Yeah.
that.
Killed my dinosaurs.
Yeah, they
I
did.
died when Kylo Ren died. I cried. It's like,
It's a different movie.
Because he was a dinosaur. Anyway.
anyway, yeah, he looked like a dinosaur.
Okay, this brings us to the conclusion of our panel. Thank you guys for coming.
Hooray! Very well
We do
done.
have a giveaway.
A giveaway.
We have a Jurassic Park adjacent prize, but the boss said you have to earn it. Do you have a trivia question ready?
Well, let me ask you, do you have a trivia question?
I've actually been thinking about this, and I wanted to, have either of you read the book, the original Jurassic Park book?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
one trivia question. Let's see, how about,
I have a question. So you've both seen all 6
All
movies?
6 movies, yes.
Okay. There is a character from the first movie that makes a return in the last movie.
Yeah.
Is that the Jeff Goldblum character?
No.
Because he's in the second movie too.
Oh, okay.
Right.
He's
You see
only
him
in the
only
first-
in
He's
the
only in the
first
first movie and only in the
movie. Only in
last.
the last movie.
oh,
Not the BJ Wong,
No.
BJ Wong character.
He shows up in some of the other
He
movies.
shows, but yeah.
yeah, good pick though.
That's a good pick, I guess.
I love you.
Okay, can I give you a hint? Can I give you a
Sure.
hint?
You get, yeah, give
Yeah.
us a hint.
It's your rules, it's your panel.
Yeah.
Or do you have another question? Because that might be difficult.
No, I'm trying to come up with a movie question because the book, I had several book questions, but those are, go for it.
Okay, the hint, Barbasol.
Oh!
Dead?
Not
Yeah.
dead.
Okay, no.
Sorry, I'm blank.
That's
No,
a
it's
good
been a long
question.
time.
That is a good question.
All right, let's, can we help, because we do need to run out of time at some point. So, the Barbasol, you guys know what the Barbasol is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
DNA.
so the Barbasol discussion was conducted by 2 characters.
Nedry.
And
The
Another
spy, the guy that did the actual transition, wearing the hat and stuff. He was wearing the sunglasses.
Yes.
He's the one that
Yeah.
gave Nedry the
Gave
Barbasol.
him, yes, yes.
He shows up again in the last movie.
just
Yes.
only in the last one, yeah.
I just don't remember his character's name.
I
but
don't remember
I know who he is.
But he also-
Which is ironic, because Nedry
He
screams
shouts
it out
down,
in
I
his
know, I
face.
remember. I
Uh,
know.
Alright, I gave Melissa trivia.
Should we give him,
Come on, I know the guy, I just don't
I
remember.
think
What role did he play in the last movie? I mean, what position did he hold in the last movie?
oh,
Oh, you're killing me. I saw his face, I just don't remember what he was.
Let me see it. Okay, well, how about this? What is the name of the park's chief engineer? I don't even know if they said his name out loud.
can you tell he's a school teacher?
Really?